Hello everyone and welcome back to Pokemon FireRed. Continuing our 30th anniversary playthrough special. Our Magikarp is one level away from having Tackle. We've added Oddish to the team. I've decided to race Clefairy alongside Pidgey and Charmeleon. Pidgey had a rough day yesterday. I don't know how many people caught the last episode, but Pidgey had some moments. At this point, there's nothing left to do but to try to fight Misty. We've battled everybody on Nugget Bridge and the subsequent route that follows. Now we fight through the two water trainers and Misty Starmie. Which, if it uses Recover, which I think it will, then, you know, that's going to be a whole thing. Now, we did put Pikachu in the box, and I'm not sure if I should do that. Since this is supposed to be like a franchise, I had time to think about it last night. Since we're doing like a franchise special, I think we might pull Pikachu back out and try to make it work. It's just with these old games, it's best to try and evolve your Pikachu into Raichu. Because a lot of times Pikachu, I'm sorry little buddy, but a lot of times Pikachu is one of the weaker Pokemon. He does not have high stats, even at maxed out at 100. He can go down easy. So, you know, it might behoove us to evolve Pikachu into Raichu. Well, I guess I should have taken her out of the box before I walk into this gym, but that's okay. We do have Oddish. Oddish should, you know, Oddish should be able to get the job done. I remember very, very clearly, Tyler had this, what was pretty much kind of like a laptop bag. And it had a plastic divider in it. And you could put the Game Boy in there, some accessories, and all the cartridges. And Tyler had all of the clear cases that the games go in too. He had to hook up with the Game Boy. I didn't have any of that. I just had a Game Boy. I wanted to take it somewhere. I just stuck it in whatever random bag I had. But I remember prior to the Game Boy Advance SP, all the way in the early 2000s, every model of Game Boy, at least outside of Japan, because I have come to understand they have a few special editions, never had back screen, were never backlit. They didn't have lights in the back, they didn't have lights in the screen, couldn't see. So they made all these peripherals for the Game Boy, little lights that plugged into the port on the side, you know. I never had any of those lights and stuff. I always just played somewhere in an environment where I could see. You couldn't see them outside. Unless I'm misremembering. I want to say the Game Boy was easier to see outside with the sun, but backlit units are harder to see outside in the sun, I think. If I'm remembering that correctly. I've not held a physical Game Boy in my hand in years and years and years and years. But yeah, I never had a lot of the little goofy peripherals. They had this little light that plugged in. That you could move around. I'm sure all those peripherals ate through your batteries, because back then we weren't using like lithium batteries and rechargeable batteries. We were still popping in AA's and AAA's, and I think the Game Boy Pocket used AAA's. That's the way the standard Game Boy used 4 AA batteries. I want to say the GBA used 2 AA's, but it may have taken 4 as well. I don't remember. It's also been a number of years since I've had a Game Boy Advance in my hand. But the Game Boy Advance SP was kind of the first step into modern technology in a way. It had a rechargeable battery and it was backlit. And I remember wanting one so bad. I eventually got one, but it took a while. I wanted that sucker so bad. Because I always thought it was foolish for the Game Boy Advance not to be backlit. from the get-go. I was like, what are you thinking, Nintendo? Because they had gone into full color mode. It was no longer in black and white or that weird green color, you know. So, I don't know. Nintendo makes interesting choices. But it was probably to keep the cost down. If I had to guess, it was probably to keep the cost of production low. Low enough to be, you know, viable on the market. But, like I said, I played Pokemon Red and Blue on the original Game Boy. Well, Blue. I never really played through Red back in the day. Then I played, like I said, I think I said this in another playthrough, but my sister got into Pokemon for all of 2 seconds until she decided it wasn't for her. She couldn't be bothered. She liked it. She just didn't like it like we like it. But she told my parents for her birthday she wanted a Game Boy. So they got her a Game Boy Color, which was the standard unit on the market at the time. But she ended up getting the special Pikachu and Pichu edition. And we had bought a used copy of Pokemon Red off my cousin because he too got into it for all of 5 minutes and decided he didn't want to keep playing it. So I ended up just using her Game Boy Color all the time. It was, for all intents and purposes, mine, but it was still technically hers. She never touched it. I feel kind of bad because I kind of low-key co-opted her birthday present that year. Because she, you know, on her own, she wouldn't have cared about Pokemon. She wouldn't have gotten into it. But it was the craze at the time in the 90s, so everybody wanted to be part of it. And honestly, I didn't care for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, like, at all. And I really didn't, I kind of stopped playing Pokemon altogether past the Johto region. But then FireRed and Leaf Green came out and I was like, oh snap, the originals on the Game Boy Advance. So I was all in again. And that's about the time that it was around that time that Tyler introduced me to his friend Thomas. They had known each other through high school. They were good friends. And then of course, Thomas and I would later become friends on our own without Tyler having to be around. And Thomas and I and his brother all played, you know, between the three of us, we had all the GBA cartridges, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And we used them to complete the Pokedex. I want to say we completed the Pokedex for Fire Red and Leaf Green. I didn't bother with Ruby and Sapphire. It was just too much trading, too much effort. But we got there eventually. Oh, you're going to take down my Pikachu, you butthole. Maybe I should have Thunder Waved instead of talking. Let's see you do that crap to Oddish. Oh, you're going to water Oddish? Oddish laughs at your futile attempts at water attacks. Yep, there it is. Second gym leader, and we're already into potion territory. Oh, Lord. Should have done this from the get-go. Still can't believe you took out my Pikachu, you hooker. I don't know how loud I should make. I'm always worried that the game's not loud enough. You guys will have to tell me if it's too loud. Or not loud enough. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to share the stream in the Discord. Whoops-a-doodle. Better do that now. One second. There we go. Now hopefully people will see that. I completely forgot, since we're streaming on YouTube right now, I'm not like I don't have bots set up. When I go live on Twitch, it tells everybody in the Discord I've gone live, but switching over to YouTube. Damn it. Yeah, I botched this whole battle. I was not paying attention when this battle started. I was trying to defeat the Elite Four earlier on my Switch OLED. I'm playing Leaf Green on the Switch 1. And I ran out of PowerPoints trying to battle everybody. And I've used up all my ethers and elixirs. You can't buy them. For whatever stupid reason. Please don't know Ice Beam. Okay, I can live with Swift. I think. Can I live with Swift? That did a lot of damage. But yeah, it became much easier later on to carry around a Game Boy Advance SP and take your Pokemon everywhere with you than it was taking that giant brick of a Game Boy everywhere. Of course, here we are 30 years later, and we're back to having a brick. The Switch and the Switch 2 are gigantic compared to like the Game Boy Advance, so it's not exactly the easiest thing to carry your Pokemon around. I really don't like taking my Switch or my Switch 2 anywhere when I leave the house. I'll be honest with you. I'm too scared something will happen to them, and it's just too expensive to replace them. Like, if anything happens to my Switch 2, we're just fucked. I can't replace that. That fucker was $600. It's a miracle I could bought that thing to begin with. I had to put that shit on credit card. And I don't know if we're going to be able to take down this Starmie. If we can outlast it, we should be able to. We'll go with double slap. You can't triple slap a double slap, Lloyd. You can't triple slap a double slap. I can't even do it. I can't do the Dumb and Dumber thing. You can't triple slap a double slap. You can't triple slap a double slap. Oh shit, look at you, Clefairy. Bitch slapped the hell out of that Starmie. Look at you go with your bad self. Oh yeah, I was gonna Google this and completely forgot. In Pokemon FireRed, when should I use the Moonstone to evolve my Clefairy? The reason I ask is because I know that when you evolve Pokemon, they tend to stop learning moves. I said my Clefairy, and it spelled it M-I-C-L-O-F-A-R-I. Speech to text. Just is not where it should be. Is my southern accent too, like, southerny? Alright. It learns Cosmic Power at level 33. It's a great defensive move that raises both special defense and defense. If you just want a sturdy Pokemon, quickly evolve it after this. Ooh, level 45. This is the big one. Clefairy learns Meteor Mash. Ooh. Light screen at 41. Okay. Okay. I think we'll go for 33 then. We'll learn cosmic power and then evolve after that. The anime was very generic, though. Ash did end up having a lot of his badges given to him out of pity. I really wish he had earned them. And it's funny because Brock and Misty point that out later in the series. They're like, what do you mean? We gave those badges to you, mostly out of pity. The original anime is charming, but it is, I feel like if they were to redo it today, it wouldn't remotely be the same thing. What is that noise? Well, I'm not looking forward to the summer, I tell you that. I mean, I am, but I'm not. I'm worried about how noisy the neighborhood's going to be. Oh, I have 80. Okay. I better buy a few of these until we can get to the full restores. God knows, you never have too many awakenings. Oh no, what happened here? Hey, bitch. You're not an innocent bystander by any means. Thunder wave. I got a real strategy going here with... It didn't work. He still kicked me. Also, Generation 4 is where they added sexual dimorphism into Pokemon. Before then, every Pokemon sprite was the same regardless of its gender. As far as I know, because I know with Pikachu, all the female Pikachu from Gen 3 back, they all had the same flat square tail. But then for Gen 4 on, like Diamond and Pearl onwards, the female Pikachu have like a little heart-shaped tail, a little notch in their tail. Which at first I was kind of a little confused about. Damn it. We lost Pikachu because I was nose deep in the Discord. No, I didn't mean to open Steam. No. Hang on a minute. Let me close Steam. Everything's going wrong on my computer. Now we'll leave Pidgey out there. I am going to use a track though. On my Leaf Green team, I've taught a track to like 3 different Pokemon. I found that you can just buy the TM for it. I think it's Celadon Department Store. Somewhere I found that you could just buy the TM. And I bought a handful of them. Womp womp. It's my favorite strategy. Because it's so devious, yet so innocent at the same time. Like, how can you be mad at love? Love wins. We are, I don't mean to bring us down here, but I will say this because it's on my mind after saying love wins. We're living in pretty dark, depressing times. I did not mean to use a potion. I should have used an awakening. Yeah, every day that I wake up and look at the news, I see the government just keeps chipping away at the LGBTQ community. A lot of it's Florida, some of it's Texas, most of it's Florida, and Florida is a trash can anywhere, so I don't care what they do. Well, I mean, I care, but I don't, you know what I mean? It's like when vegetarians and vegans try to protest meat factories and things. You're vegetarians. Nobody cares what you do. Quoting Futurama before you get upset. You know, it's... I don't know. It's very annoying. God damn it. Wake up, Pidgey! It's a little scary, too, because I see that some states are now trying to take away the driver's license of trans individuals, and I'm like, that is just fucking awful. Why? I mean, I know why. I get why you're evil, but like, I also found out there's a very popular movement. I don't know why this is gaining traction because it's fucking awful. But apparently there's a small movement of people in the LGBTQ who are not supportive of trans people. And they're like, well, we're the, you know, I just learned about this recently, the LGBTQ without the T. They're trying to drop the T. And I'm like, no, homie, we're not doing that. That's not a thing we're going to do. Fuck you. This world is depressing. I think even from a young age, a lot of us kind of knew that the world was I mean, everybody says, ooh, life's unfair. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I don't expect it to be fair. But I also don't expect a lot of the fuck shit that's happening now. You know? And I think a lot of people, you know, I think marginalized individuals, whether it be people who have like ADHD or people on the autistic spectrum or people in the LGBTQ community or whatever marginalized group you want to use as an example here. I think a lot of us use these video games as an escape, and Pokemon's a pretty good world to escape into, and I think that's why a lot of it has staying power for so many of us. You know, I think that's why we feel so strongly connected to Pokemon. Because I've been seeing posts on threads lately of people saying, why is every single gay person in love with Pokemon? It's kind of like you can't have one without the other, apparently. And I was like, I can see that. A lot of the Pokemon accounts I come across are usually by gay people on threads, and that's hilarious. But I don't know. I think video games in general, just for everybody, period, straight people, it doesn't matter, whatever. The video games in general for everybody, especially at a young age, they're a good escape. People have often shit all over them. Ooh, they're too violent, or you need to go outside and get some sun and get some exercise. You don't need to do. True, you don't need to just sit in front of a video game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not healthy, but you could die if you drink too much water. So literally nothing in reality is healthy for you if you consume too much of it. Oxygen, water, sunlight, everything will fucking kill you in excess. And I always found that to be a weak argument. Like, never play video games because you think it's bad for you. No, you're just ignorant at that point. No. Some of us only made it to the age we are today because we had video games to escape to and with. Life is easier for some than others, you know. We lose a lot of people on a regular basis from like mental health issues that go either undiagnosed, untreated, like depression's a big one. Meowth. All it does is sleep during the daytime. At night, it patrols its territory with its eyes aglow. But I think Pokemon has kind of been there for an entire generation of people, hugging us, keeping us comfy, keeping us sane. From the very humble beginnings here with, you know, red and green or red and blue, all the way up to Winds and Waves that's coming out next year. Pokemon has become so concretely intertwined into who I am as a person. I am able to, at the end of the day, compartmentalize, and I'm able to walk away from it and go live a normal life out in the world. But at the same time, I don't really want to do that. I don't see the need in. I'll be 42 this September. I've made it this far. I've made it 30 years with Pokemon being part nearly of my everyday life. I phrased that wrong and weird, but you get what I'm trying to say. Pokemon has been a constant in my life for 3 decades now, and I see absolutely no reason whatsoever to change that now. Ooh, we gonna raise one of me Pokemans? I don't have anybody to leave with you though. No. I know we need to get this Magikarp back out here. Yeah, this was, they had the daycare here. This was pre-breeding in Pokemon. Breeding came along in Gen 2. But this guy would raise your Pokemon, and it was based on how many steps you took in the game. Every so many steps equaled XP for the Pokemon at the daycare. Now, in the original Red and Blue, when you first walked in here and pressed A, somewhere right in here, you'd find a full restore. But they seem to have taken it out in FireRed, Leaf Green. Now, I don't know if they took it out on purpose or if they just simply forgot to add it. but I've never been able to find a full restore in here. The game, even one of the NPCs up here will tell you, hey, people drop items. Oh, this is just a trade kid. One of these people will tell you that there are items. Get back down there. But I never find anything. Nope, I do not see a single thing down here at all. I do not see a single flipping thing. Not a thing down here. I see nothing at all. I don't see a confound thing at all. I wonder if anybody's taking the time to do that whole tunnel. We're not. There she is. People often lose things in the darkness of the underground path. So if you want to take your item finder down there and have fun, be my guest. I guess we should walk in here just to show people. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they gatekeep it. Literally gatekeeping. But get a Magikarp. You have tackle now, son. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but oh no. Oh no. You know what? I'm just going to keep using tackle. We're bound to get a critical hit at some point. I want Magikarp to win its own fight. I know this to be a futile effort, but I'm going to do it anyway. Maybe it'll keep using string shot. Edging ever closer to knocking out this Weedle. This will be Magikarp's first victory by itself. I love Magikarp. I just think he's neat. And we've got a real good Magikarp. She's boom, she won her first battle. And got almost no XP whatsoever. It's like we're back at the beginning. Tackle, 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 tackle. I think everybody's seen the Game Boy that survived the war. I don't remember what war. Gulf War? I don't remember. But it's a charred Game Boy that was in a bombing, and it's been in the museum for years and years. I don't know who owns it. I don't know if Nintendo directly themselves own it now, or some random museum owns it. But that's fun. That's worth looking up. That Game Boy still works to this day. I will say this about Nintendo. They've always made quality products. Their products have always been super durable. My cousin went through a Nintendo 64 out a 2-story window. It hit the concrete and didn't even crack. I don't know how. It should have It's plastic. It should have shattered like an egg. It didn't. Of course, there's definitely been a loss of quality over the years. I will go on to say that. Like, around the Wii into the Wii U era, things started to kind of take a little bit of a nosedive. Not just with the physical products that they were selling, but like their games too started to. The Wii was just like the PS2. It was a shovelware machine. The name of the game was just to have as many games on that system as possible. They didn't give a shit if they were good or not. They did not care. They no longer cared about quality control. I want to say there was hentai in the eShop. I know there's hentai in the eShop on the Switch. Now, how and why Nintendo allows that, you'll have to ask them. Knowing that a lot of their marketing for this console is towards children, I do find that incredibly sus, though. And given the Epsteinian nightmare of reality at the moment, I'm looking at you, Nintendo. Okay, let's see this. You poisoned my bird. You son of a bitch. And I think one of these is going to have a Pikachu and one's going to have a Squirtle. I could be wrong. I think that's how this duo plays out. Squirtle! Squirtle, squirt, Squirtle, squirt, Squirtle, squirty, squirt, squirt, squirt. The internet has ruined an entire generation of people. I can't hear the word squirt anymore innocently. Stupid no good internet. Ooh, paralyzed. Sorry, Ricky. Pokemon trainer Ricky. Redtop. Hyperfang, huh? You really like the Hyperfang, don't you? Kill my Pokemon just to get rid of that beeping. Damn it, you weren't asleep for more than 2 seconds. Womp womp. Pikachu. She had a Pikachu, so I was right. A Squirtle and a Pikachu. Squirtle. The Pikachu. Stayed up too late last night. I might have to go to bed super early tonight. I'm recording this or streaming this or whatever the day before I leave for my trip. Don't do all this double team crap. But this will go out late, like towards the end of the week. Well, it's a good thing we were able to pop off a poison because Pikachu's going to double team itself into oblivion. I'm not going to be able to touch it. Slowly getting there. Sorry, folks. I know it's tedious. I promise exciting stuff is coming. You just got to get Magikarp evolved. Butterfree Butterfree kid guy. Tackle's not exactly going to work for you. We're going to bring out the old Charmeleon, I mean. No! No! I hate you. I hate you. No. Thank you. Giant alien-headed Butterfree. Motherfucker. Well, at least it's not going to put me to sleep. Do 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 do. Boom! Hit him! Hit him with that ember. Oh, what the hell? Sometimes I like to pull my the middle drawer of my desk out and rest my arms and hands in there, as opposed to just sitting here with them dangling. It helps prop me up too. Helps straighten out the old diaphragm so you can breathe properly. Because a lot of times I'm hunched over. I'll admit it. I'm a huncher. I hunch. Do not sit up straight like I should. Wait, who's she using? Pigeon. Who it is? It's warm today. I'm sitting here about to break a sweat. Where did Pokemon go after the Game Boy Advance, the DS, and the 3DS. I think the DS is widely accepted amongst the majority of people as like the best era for Pokemon. Because not only could you play all of the DS games, but you could play your old GBA games. GBA cartridges could be inserted on the bottom of a DS and played that way. Granted, they took that off of later models like the DSi or the DS. No, the DS Lite could still play GBA games. They just stuck out of the bottom a little weirdly. But yeah, you had Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black, White, Black and White 2. It was a Pokemon machine. We just didn't know how good we had it back in the day. We were eating good and didn't even know it. Just, you know, flash forward to like the 3DS and we are the Switch era, and it's like, ooh, yeah, not so good errors. Not so good. I guess the 3DS era was okay. See, I really didn't care for, I didn't really care for X and Y. I just don't. I don't hate them, but they just weren't fun to me. I didn't really care for them that much. Sun and Moon was okay. Sun and Moon came out though at a time in my life where I just didn't have time for Pokemon. I was really busy doing so much else. And then I guess from Sun and Moon we move over into, yeah, we move into the Switch era with Sword and Shield. God damn it. You cunt! Well, you've done me a favor. Because now I can do this. Oh, damn, I forgot I gotta fight Raticate guy here. Damn it. Sword and Shield were okay. I remember shitting on them for a while. I didn't know it was gonna get worse. I think the N64 trees meme will always be my favorite Pokemon meme. Because it's true, and I agree with it. His graphics in Sword and Shield were not great. But I still find Sword and Shield to be a way more enjoyable experience than Scarlet and Violet. And what sucks is Scarlet and Violet had its moments, but like, that just, no. I'm afraid, no. 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 Alright, I'm gonna put your ass to sleep. But as with many things in life, you know, you look back, you have hindsight, you look back with nostalgia goggles, and a lot of your memories too. It's not just about the games themselves, but a lot of times it could be where you were in life at the moment. You know, how big of an escape were the games for you? Were you playing them to escape the shitty world we live in, or were you just playing them for kicks and giggles? Who'd you play them with, you know? Who you play your games with also makes a big difference in the end, as far as looking back and remembering. So I think when we look back on past games, specifically, we'll just say the DS era Pokemon games, I think what really informs our opinions might be who we played with. Given that Pokemon is like, yeah, you can play Pokemon by yourself. You play through the story, raise your Pokemon, beat the league, yada yada. But there's so much more. There's the trading for evolution, there's the battles, you know. And then in modern times, you can just trade with people online. You don't even have to be in person anymore. So I think who you play with is also a huge part of it when it comes to Pokemon. I mean, you could say that about any game series, I guess, but we're playing Pokemon, so I'm going to choose to talk about Pokemon. But I don't think we'll ever see that golden era like we did in the DS run of things. They were pumping them out left and right, and it was great. Like Gold and Silver's like the best Pokemon games. Black and White's my second favorite era. So Diamond and Pearl were okay. Really was like the best years to be a Pokemon fan. Flash forward to Scarlet and Violet, and I'm just like, ooh. We've made it to Vermilion City. Ooh, the Versus Seeker. Yeah, the Versus Seeker lets you re-challenge and rebattle certain trainers. But you have to run like 100 steps or so to recharge it, which is easy. It takes 2 seconds. The old rod, which is a piece of shit and only catches Magikarp, but I'll take it. They have barked all day. My neighbors they have a couple of puppies and they have barked all day. How did you get a seal? I raise more than 100 Pokemon. I'm very fussy when it comes to Pokemon. I surely am. So, you come to visit me to hear about Pokemon? Yeah, sure. Good. Listen up. My favorite is Rapidash. It's cute, lovely, smart, plus amazing. You think so? Oh, yes. It's stunning. Kindly. Love it. Hug it. And sleeping. Warm. Cuddly. Spectacular. And ravishing. Oh, oops, look at the time. I kept you too long. Thanks for hearing me out. Now we have a bike voucher. Mister, I have over 100 Pokemon. Your Pikachu's twice as cute as mine. Whatever you gotta tell yourself, son, you're entitled to your wrong opinion. Yeah, the original Red and Blue was like mid-ish 90s, so cell phones were not prevalent. People were still sending snail mail. We had email, but nobody used it because nobody had the internet. Here's my fur. I do have a ticket. No matter of fact, I do. I believe this is our cabin. We don't need to, but I do it anyway. Everyone is chipper. Can I sit down at least? Thank you. Alrighty, I think that is going to do it for me for today. That is going to be today's episode, folks. By the time this goes up on YouTube, I will be on my trip. I'm going to be gone a week, give or take, a few days. So I've preloaded and pre-recorded enough content to keep you guys fat and giggly while I'm gone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating the 30th anniversary of Pokemon with me. And, you know, if you guys have any memories that you'd like to share, leave them in the comments. I don't think I asked people to you know, and I don't initiate enough viewer, what do you call it? Engagement. We need to start pushing viewer engagement and get people to commenting. But tell me what are some of your favorite Pokemon memories if you made it this far into the episode, you know? Let me know. Until then, see you folks.